this relief for beneficiaries suing for breach of fiduciary duty? Yeah. Payment of accounting costs before trial. I know a lot of oaths of office said, "Well, I'm sorry, Paul, you cannot be exempted from paying the fees of court fees and costs." Yeah. But let's say I had somebody else paying for me. Pooch, maybe I made you pay as the defendant in each and every lawsuit. No, you would say no. Even though we're guilty of breach of fiduciary duty, yes, and breach of trust, yes, and breach of obligation and duty to care, yes. There's no way I could get the defense to pay the court fees. You know, a lot of times when you get sued from me, and I told you I'm not going to pay the fees to use any court of this nation, if you happen to be, oh, you did want to pay. Oh, did you want to pay for the victim's resources? Oh, how about the rewards for being an informant of malicious harassment, hate crimes, ouch, subversion? Pooch. Did you want to pay the fees? Now, I know they usually don't do this. You're used to having the plaintiff pay the court fees when getting sued. Yes, yes. And then they get that money back after they get the judgment. Yes. There's this relief for beneficiaries suing for breach of fiduciary duty, payment of accounting costs before trial. Now, if we were asked, what is the greatest, most distinctive achievement performed by Englishmen in the field of jurisprudence? I cannot think that we should have any better answer to give them this, namely, the development from century to century of the trust idea. Now, I have to trust law enforcement and you arrested me? Yes. And I have to trust the sheriff's office? Yes. And I have to trust the judiciary? Yes. And I have to trust the politicians, and they just don't seem to think right now. Could you get me the estate planning for the business owner that happens to have a homesteaded property? Yeah. Just put in quotations ESTATE space PLANNING in quotations on every web page and on every website. Now, for all of those that are involved in the estate planning of their clients, yes, it's kind of a specialized field. I'm thinking they're not going to be concerned about any death taxes because I mentioned that we could have set it up as a type of a foundation, a charitable trust. But instead, every asshole in the United States decided they were going to deprive me of my rights. Now I'm going to want the estate plans, yes, of all of those that live on homesteaded property. Yes. I'm going to want the estate plans, yes, of every oath of office of the United States and how their life insurance plays into that estate planning. Yes. I'm going to want the estate plans of those that are veterans that happen to be employees of any school. Yes. Any mandatory reporter, doctor, and all of those that are legally liable for the enforcement of the law so as to prevent any subversive activities on the part of those in law enforcement. Now, this estate planning? Yes, yes, yes. A lot of attorneys are involved in that, aren't you? The formation of trust? Yes, yes. Wills? Kratz? The charitable remainder unit trust? Yes. Kratz? Oh, the charitable remainder asset trust? And then there are these various foundations. Why don't you get me the actual attorney firms that had done all the legal documentation necessary for the formation of a foundation so that you, the billionaire, would be able, you know, a lot of billionaires, they're not actual attorneys. Difficult to believe. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? Isn't that right? Do you have an attorney on staff? Do you have an attorney on staff? Do you really? Now, of all the foundations, yes, the charitable trust, yes, the trust documents, yes, and the wills, yes. Give me every estate planning attorney of the United States of America. Now, my thought is, yes, yes,